I seem to be being stalked by a friendly or hungry king parrot. Here he is. He saw me here and he swooped down and landed very close to me. Hello. Just a quick update on the sheepskins that we are turning into rugs. They have spent about 10 days in an alum salt solution. I've just removed them from this solution and they are now drying, ready to be oiled and stretched, which is the final step before they, in theory at least, become sheepskin rugs. Hello again. You really want some food from me, don't you? He's a very friendly parrot. Hello. I don't have any food at the moment, sorry. This is a little offcut, which could be a seat cushion or possibly a bed for Vita. And these are the three larger ones. There's a little tear in that one, but that can be sewn up and shouldn't be noticeable. They certainly don't smell of anything very much. Certainly don't smell bad, which is good. So yeah, they should take 2 or 3 days to dry, maybe longer. And here's the parrot who is following me around, hoping that I'll give him something to eat. I'm sorry, I don't have anything to eat at the moment, parrot.
And I have just switched over the grass cutting blade on my Husqvarna brush cutter to the strimmer line. No guarantee, knowing me, that I've actually done it correctly, but I tried. At least if this comes off, it's less likely to take my feet off. Anyway, I did that because now that I've got everything under control and I'm just maintaining, I think that this is going to be more suitable for my needs than the blade. But now that I've done that, I can turn my attention. Sorry, I'm being plagued by birds at the moment who are desperate for food. The currawong, and there's a king parrot hanging about. Don't know where it went. Anyway, there may be a distraction in the background. Yes, now that that's done, I can turn my attention to the final push of getting the property ready for the bushfire season ahead of us, and that is just to rake up all of this debris, chuck it in the trailer, and then that'll go to the tip on Sunday. Look at this bad boy. Isn't that cool? I'll zoom in. I don't quite know what it is, but I'm assuming it's that butterfly which lays the caterpillars which eats the citrus. This is the orange tree. Cool. Anyway, on with the raking. Well, that's one side done. This side this side of the path under the Christmas tree. And as you'll have seen, I've just raked up the other side, the worst side, because it's underneath these huge eucalyptus trees, which are brittle. they do like to drop bits of themselves. So the last thing to do is get these piles into there and then go and run and get my washing in, because I've been doing all of this under the duress of an imminent thunderstorm. So it's also very sticky, not entirely pleasant. However, a tiny reminder of why I'm doing this, since most bushfires started by lightning strikes. It's a good motivation to just get this job done. There we go. The final load, ready to go to the tip. And all under the trees, nice and tidied. The final thing is the gutter. And I'll be doing that sooner rather than later. So I'm glad to get that done. Now we're all set. This is Will just doing the finishing touches to the wall of our wood store, which, as you can see, is now up. All that remains to be done is to put in the additional screws along the top row, and then eventually this will be trimmed so to be quite a lot shorter than it appears now. Nevertheless, this is our progress so far. The first wall is up. I'm briefly back in the city, this time getting on for Christmas. You may remember last year the Maya windows were a big draw. As they are again this year. The theme this year is Bluey, which I think is this dog, some sort of Australian children's dog. Loving this John tune. As you will have seen from yesterday's brief footage of the Maya Christmas windows, we are in Melbourne again, but only briefly. We're basically transiting through because we're on our way to Tasmania, to Hobart, to take part in the Point to Pinnacle race again. If you weren't here last year, it's basically a half marathon which goes from sea level up to the top of a mountain in Hobart, Tasmania, and Will's family and myself took part last year. Some of our party ran the whole thing, and there's also an alternative 10-kilometre route you can do, which ends at a pub called the Point to Pub, and some of our party did that. Some of us walked it and some of us ran it, but we're heading back this year to do the same. So Will's family and I, and Will and I catching a flight out bright and early this morning, hence staying in the city overnight just to give us a bit of a head start. So I'll bring you along for the ride and we can go and check out a bit of Tasmania together. As you can see, we are now at the airport. I've got Will in front. We're just waiting for our gate, then we're going to board our plane. It's a very quick crossing, about an hour's flight, and then I'll pick you up on the other side. We are on the plane. Let me show you what I can see. we are in Hobart, greeted by these lovely little ducklings, because we are once again on the coast. We are staying in this hotel, which is the starting point of the race, which is happening tomorrow, so we're very well located, and as you can see, it's a lovely spot. Maybe I'll show you the view from our room when we get back to the hotel. One last look at the little ducklings. We're off to go and get some provisions for the room. It is race day, and you find me at the start line, which is just behind me. I learnt my lesson from last year when we started off right at the back, so now I'm right at the front. I'm a bit competitive, not with other people, with myself. So I'll keep you informed as we go along, but obviously my focus is trying to get a good time. So maybe it'll be intermittent, but it's quite a nice day for it. It's overcast, it's not too hot, it's not too cold, so it should be a nice walk. Approaching halfway. Finished. Got a medal. It's pretty quick.
I did a similar time last year, and
Sort of
we
see
got
the
going
view.
pretty
It's very
quickly
nice.
after we
Chilly.
got on the bus.
Nice
I
to be
remember
having a
that.
seat. I've just been out, and I'm now heading back to the hotel after the event. I actually found that I didn't film too much because I got really into it, and I was worried that if I stopped to film too much of the scenery and of what was happening, it would have held me up. So I'm sorry about that. My competitive nature took over and got the better of me. For what it's worth, myself and Will's family, we all did pretty well in our respective events. We all did slightly different variations. Some of us walked the half marathon, some of us ran it, some of us ran the 10k, and some of us walked it. If you're interested, for my gender and age group, I came 6th out of over 100, I think, so I was pretty pleased with that. I don't know if you've ever done this sort of event, but I did think to myself as I was participating with about 7k to go, I'm never doing this ever again, this is horrible. And then I got on the bus, which took us all back down to the start, and after about 5 minutes of being on the bus, I was thinking to myself, oh, how can I go faster next year? So it's one of those things where it was sort of horrible at the time, but you sort of quickly forget that and start preparing for how you can do better next time. Anyway, yet again, it's been a lovely trip here to Tasmania, to Hobart. It was lovely to catch up with family, as always. Will and I are back off home tomorrow, but we're going to go briefly via Melbourne to begin with. So we're flying to Melbourne. I'm going to nip into the shops, I think, as is Will, and then we're going to catch a train back and then drive home. So it's been quite a brief trip. I'm afraid I haven't captured a lot of it, but it's been a lovely trip. And actually, just as I'm walking past, I'll quickly capture some scenery of the harbour here. You have to forgive the car park. Anyway, it's very pretty. And I'm heading for that tower, which is where we're staying. It's a beautiful evening. And by the by, I think that's where we went. Maybe just make out that tower up on that hill. So from here up to there. We're just packing up, ready to check out. I don't think I showed you the view from our bedroom window. Bit of suburban Hobart in the background. And then this lovely view of these little boats. There's some sort of cruise ship coming in. Let me zoom you in. As well as flying to Tasmania, it is possible to take a boat. It's called the Spirit of Tasmania. It might be that that's the Spirit of Tasmania, but I don't know. It's the sort of place which probably other cruise ships visit. Anyway, if you don't like to fly, you can come by sea. And then down here, a little bit of gardens. And there's a little beach over there. So, all in all, very nice actually. But for those who might be interested, we are packing up, but this is what the room looks like in a state of dishevelment, admittedly. But all the things you would expect of a relatively modern hotel room. Nice little place to sit and eat. A very gigantic bed, which is like 2 single beds glued together. Bathroom in there. Nice wardrobe, little desk. Gigantic TV. We've been very comfortable. Once we're back in Victoria, I'm just going to avail myself of the opportunity to do a couple more things in Melbourne before we head home. And this is in advance of our big trip up to Brisbane. There's 1 or 2 travel accessories I'd like to pick up before we go. So we'll probably spend an hour or 2 in the city and then we'll head home.